Well, let's get it. 580 Sports Talk on a Thursday. Coming to you for the next 2 hours here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and live on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and on our Facebook page, WIBW News. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, Spencer Dupuis, gang's all here. For these next 2 hours, we take the baton from the Royals Baseball Network, and in 2 hours, we'll pass it right back for game number 2 of the doubleheader. In the Gateway City tonight, the Royals will be looking to salvage a doubleheader split after falling 6-5 in 10 innings. Cardinals in game 1 header this afternoon. The first time this season the Royals have lost a game that they led in the 7th inning or later. They led, in fact, 3-0 in this game in the 7th and also led in extra innings. But a bullpen that has been mostly excellent throughout the season, unable to hold the lead. And so the Royals fall to the Cardinals. And in truth, given the nature of the defeat, given that it is the first loss in a game this year where the Royals were leading into the 7th inning, you have to say that if Tuesday night's rally from behind is one of the best wins, if not the best win of the Royals season, today, game 1 of this doubleheader might have been their worst loss. Definitely one of their worst, most frustrating losses of the season. We'll break it all down. The good, Noah Cameron, Jac Caglianone's into the hit column and the RBI column as a big leaguer. We'll get to the good stuff. The bad, and of course, we'll look ahead to tonight's nightcap. Cole Ragans returning from the injured list. He'll get the start for Kansas City on the mound tonight against St. Louis left-hander Matthew Liberatore. We will have a preview of that later on in the show today. Also, we're going to talk some local sports with Rick Peterson, bottom of this hour. Pistol usually joins us 3:30-ish on Thursdays, but we knew we were going to be an hour late today, so we asked Pistol if we could call him at 4:35 instead, and he was all about it. So Rick Peterson will join us to recap what was the final week of high school sports competition in the state of Kansas, a state championship for Washburn Rural girls soccer, some individual golds from the state track meet, some other things to talk about as we wind down the prep sports season. Rick Peterson of TopSports.news will join us at the bottom of this hour. And we'll have everything else that you come to know and love from a Thursday edition of the show. We'll just have it in a condensed form today, just 2 hours with you instead of the usual 3. We'll play around of either or over under. We'll do our 580 Sports Talk headlines and a playoff roundup. We've got 2 What Is Wrong With You stories coming up in a bit as well. Plus, we want to hear from you. The text line is open. 785-272-9429 is the number. That's 785-272-9429. You can also, if you are watching on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, you can jump into the chat and leave comments, interact with your hosts and your fellow listeners as we go along today. That's on the YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, the name of the channel. Go check it out if you haven't before, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed to our YouTube channel. Guys, you enjoy a free hour? I mean, not really free. We just kind of hung out and watched baseball together. But
I was going to say, we all just hung out in your office and watched the end of the game.
On my CRT TV from
the 1980s.
It's not that old, brother. It's got a DVD player, man.
That's
Come
true.
on.
The early 2000s.
Do you know what CRT
Prehistoric.
is? Do you know what CRT stands for?
No.
Oh,
Damn
my goodness.
youths.
Yeah, man. You
Cathode ray tube.
too young for this. I'm too old for you to be this young, Spencer. Yeah, the old CRT with the VCR and the DVD player, both mounted.
I mean, those went crazy back in the early 2000s.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
when I was just remembering, like understanding what things are. If you had the VCR and the DVD player, that was like the cool parents, the cool family.
Look, I have thought about, like, I don't know where you would even buy a VHS anymore.
Goodwill, maybe.
Yeah, Goodwill.
Go to Goodwill. Man, go to Goodwill. See if I can find, like, I don't know, something worthwhile to watch on VHS and just throw it in during the workday. You know, prep the show, and I've got, like, I don't know, The Terminator
I Googled where to buy a VHS, and the first thing that came up under places was Best Buy. So
Really? They still selling VHS?
allegedly.
I'll call Best Buy and see if they're
I'll
selling VHS.
walk in and ask.
Amazon. Here we go.
Yeah,
eBay.
You can do it for for sure.
For $136, you can buy all 10 seasons of Law and Order Criminal Intent on VHS.
VHS. Oh man, I'm losing money if I don't buy that.
Yeah, there's all sorts of good ones on here. The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, Scared Silly. I remember that video.
I think I have in my possession at my house. It may not be. It may be at my parents' house. I might have the VHS of the 1996 Colorado Avalanche Stanley Cup video. I think I have that on VHS.
Nice.
I've got a Rockies one from 1993 too. Like all the players they drafted in the expansion draft. It was a summation of the expansion draft.
That's pretty sick.
Lots of David Need highlights. Anyhow.
Oh, man, a copy of Power Rangers in Space for $7. Again, I'm losing money if I don't. That's an investment in my daughter's future.
So, anywho, we all got together on my television that is as heavy as two small children and watched the Royals gack that one up. That was not pleasant. 3-0 lead with Noah Cameron on the bump. Let's go ahead and start there, because that's the pivot point in this game, right? Noah Cameron was not real sharp to start today, and you kind of had the feeling that the Cardinals were going to be able to get to him. He walked back-to-back batters to start the second, but he pitched his way out of that jam. And then the middle innings kind of felt like the smooth sailing that we've seen from the rookie as he finished 6 innings, not allowing a run, joining Fernando Valenzuela as the only other pitcher in modern Major League history to throw 5+ innings and allow a run or fewer in each of their first 5 career starts. Now, to be fair to Fernando Valenzuela, it wasn't 5+ innings for Fernando. It was like every inning. That dude was in 1981 when Tommy Lasorda said, well, let's see if I can make a starter out of this kid. Yeah, his first 8 starts were all complete games, and he won every single one of them. Yeah,
Kids don't understand.
No, they don't.
I'm kids. Like I know about Fernando Mania, but it still is incredible that it actually happened.
He had the screwball going. Do they have his pitch counts on here? I'm dying to know if they've got the pitch counts. Does not look like they do. That's unfortunate. They do have one of them. And one of them, a complete game win, a 1-0 complete game win over the Mets on May 8th, 1981. Fernando Valenzuela threw 141 pitches.
Good, real ball.
If a major league manager threw a pitcher 141 pitches, they would be arrested.
Yeah, they're never barred from the game.
Their general manager would have that manager arrested on the spot. Anyway, so yeah, it's a little different. What Fernando was doing was a little different, but still, that's good company to be in for Noah Cameron. 6 strong innings, 3-0 lead. The middle of the order is coming up in the 7th. It's all right-handed. The power in that order is all right-handed. And Matt Quatrero goes to John Schreiber. And you heard him, if you were listening to the postgame show here on 580 WIBW, you heard him say that that's a move they were going to make. And he said 9 out of 10 times we're going to make that move. He cited the first couple of innings being a little bit laborious for Cameron as a reason to get him out despite a pitch count in the 80s. I'll leave it to you guys. I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear what you think listening as well. 785-272-9429 or the YouTube chat. Was it the right move to take Noah Cameron out of the game?
I don't think so. I think you got to let him go. And this is a game where you might need some bullpen arms because Cole Ragans he's going to be on a pitch count tonight, right? He didn't throw
potentially, yeah.
He didn't throw that well during his rehab stint. When it comes to the number of, the way that he threw, you might want to get him out early. So I think you need the bullpen ready to go for tonight. I think you try to go him in the 7th. The minute maybe you see if he gives up a hit, maybe that's when you pull him. But I think you at least let him go back out there. He's deserved that ability to do so by the way that he's helped this team so far.
I mean, how many times have I come on these very airwaves and sat behind this microphone and said it's bad for Major League Baseball that pitchers don't go far enough into games? Like Noah Cameron's hot start or not, I'm going to say 6 innings and 81 pitches. Yeah, he could have kept going. There's no doubt in my mind. I know he's young. I get all that, but Yeah, it was the wrong move. And look, like, if it had worked out, hey, it works out. Great. It's like the coach in football who goes for two, and if it doesn't work, you're an idiot. If it does work, you're a genius. I mean, it's in a similar vein to that. I would have told you at the time I thought it was the wrong move because that's not my philosophical belief in how you should run a baseball team and how you should handle your pitchers, even if they're young guys like Cameron. How old is he? 23? Is that what he is?
25.
25? Okay, so he's a little bit old. Yeah, okay. He's pitched enough, man. Let him go.
Yeah.
Wrong move.
Earned it, too.
And I don't think we need to have, like, some big referendum on, like, is he the right guy for the job? If you like Quatrero already, you probably aren't going to change. You're going to say it was a bad day. That's where I am. If you already didn't think he was a very good manager, you probably think you can't wait till the Royals go 82-80 and miss the playoffs. You can fire him. Like, I don't think this game changes anything like that. I do think it was a clear misfire, though. He misfire once in a while, so be it. But it is unfortunate because the game was right there for the taking. And look, the counter argument, well, there were three righties coming up and this, that, and the other thing, and third time through the order, all that. Okay, fine. Whatever.
I'm going to make the counter argument that it was the right move for Quatrero to go to a right-handed reliever, particularly a specialist like Schreiber there in the seventh. First thing first, they're not going to pinch hit for any of those guys. So you're gonna maintain the platoon advantage. Contreras, Herrera, and Arenado are all going to bat. Like there's no question those guys are going to hit. Schreiber's been really good. It's not like you're going to a guy who's been struggling of late. Schreiber's had a really nice year. He's throwing the ball well of late. And Cameron, the third time through the order, it'd be one thing if Cameron had been overpowering. Like, it's one thing if Cameron has disappearing stuff and he'd been sharp the whole game. He'd been dotting the strike zone. His command had been really, really good. He'd been striking a bunch of guys out. Then I would say, absolutely, let him go face those righties again. He's feeding them all crumbs. Cameron he didn't walk anybody after he walked back-to-back hitters to start the second, but the command wasn't particularly sharp for the entire game. He only threw 7 first-pitch strikes to the 21 batters that he faced.
That's not a great number.
He only had the 3 strikeouts. So, again, not overpowering here. It is the third time you see a lineup. There is a very real third time through penalty that pitchers face. Typically, lineup has seen you twice, and then they see you a third time. That's when they start to square you. Now, Cameron's handled those situations before, but he's handled them against teams who haven't seen him. This is the second time he's seen the Cardinals in a pretty short amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think with the evidence available, and like Quatrero comes from Tampa Bay. We all remember them pulling Blake Snell from a World Series game because they didn't want him facing a lineup the third time through.
Mm-hmm.
And we all remember how that went backwards, but I think Quatrero's going to adhere to that idea that, hey, let's get the kid out of there before he's got to face the meat of their order, all right-handers. Again, maybe it's a different deal if he's facing the top of the order, but it's Nootbaar and Donovan who are both lefties. Maybe it's a different deal if he's facing those guys to start the seventh. But I was okay with it. Like, I didn't flinch. Like, let me say that. When I was watching, my gut reaction was not, oh, man, why'd they take him out of the game? Like, in a sense, it was weird because Cameron has pitched into the seventh in each of his 4 previous big league outings. But it was not, to me, a move that was a real head scratcher. It ended up, obviously, not working out great. The Royals maintained the lead through the inning, but the bigger problem in that inning was Bobby Witt Jr. just dropped a baseball.
Yep.
Just flat out dropped a baseball. It was a tough play, kind of a funky shovel, almost like an option pitch from Michael Massey on the ground ball by Ryan Valade.
Caught him a little high.
Yeah, it was high, but it is 100 times out of 100 times, big leaguers got to catch that ball. Hit you in the glove, you got to catch it.
I agree. No, I agree.
And not getting that out meant that Joel Pozo's fly ball off Daniel Lynch ended up scoring a run. And that run ended up being pretty important in what ended up being a 1-run game. So that's my counter argument that it was a defensible move for Matt Quatrero. And it didn't work out because there's a difference. And we saw it with Taylor Clark, the 2-run home run, the go-ahead home run to Ivan. There's a difference between relievers who are good and relievers who've been good.
Mm-hmm.
And there are not good every time they touch the ball. You know who those guys are. Taylor Clark's been good. And John Schreiber's been good. The guys who've been good, you never know what that next outing is going to look like. And you're at the mercy sometimes of the batted ball gods. You're at the mercy of your defense. And it ended up not working out for the Royals the way they would have liked.
Yeah, I guess that would be my final rebuttal. And look, like, I don't think anything you said is out of line. Like, I thought it was the wrong move, but I never would have imagined that Schreiber would have struggled the way he did, that Witt would just drop a ball at second base. Like, I never would have predicted anything like that would happen. So I can't say that I pounded the table, this is a disaster. Like, no, I thought it was wrong, but you can make a wrong decision and it doesn't impact you. That happens every game. I mean, how many times a game does that happen? Like, ask a pitcher. How many times do you throw a pitch? Oh, boy, hung that one. Batter missed it and popped out instead of hit a home run. It happens all the time. So I'm not, like, freaking out over it. The one other thing I would add, though, and I understand baseball's a game of matchups and the platoons, and I understand all that. I've watched enough baseball in my life, right? Noah Cameron is a better pitcher than anybody the Royals could have thrown other than Carlos Estevez, which would be my one other reason. Like, I probably would have stuck with him. Again, I know he's young. Like, it's not like righties are killing him. That's my thing. Like, he has destroyed lefties. Lefties have been unplayable against Cameron, which is really impressive. Righties entering today, and these numbers are even better after today, he threw 6 scoreless, 511 OPS on the season for right-handed batters against Cameron. That is going to blow up on him at some point. It is his first year in Major League Baseball. There is going to be a game at some point, in all likelihood, where Noah Cameron goes 3 1/3 innings and just gets destroyed. It happens. That's baseball. Yeah. And he's young, and it happens to young pitchers. For now, though, Schreiber's been good. Yes, Noah Cameron, I think, has been the best pitcher other than Chris Bubich, who you obviously couldn't use. I would have ridden the hot hand while I knew he was the hot hand versus the volatility of going to the bullpen with a guy who historically has been volatile in John Schreiber. Again, is it the biggest deal in the world? No, it's not. Loss sucks. You move on. But
yeah, and look, you have to credit the Royals for battling back in the top of the ninth. Jonathan India's sac fly after a couple of hits, like Michael Massey getting a 1-out hit to start the rally, and Jonathan India driving in the run to tie the game. The Royals scoring in the 10th, putting themselves in position to win the game anyway. And if Mason Wynn's chopper hits dirt instead of the plate, maybe that's a double play that holds Joel Pozo at third with 2 outs instead of being the only play for Perez at first is at first scoring the tying run and changing the shape at the bottom of the 10th inning on kind of an unfortunate bounce. But the guys who had not faltered for the Royals in that bullpen faltered today and turned a 3-0 lead with 9 outs to go into a 6-5 loss. One last note on Cameron, the third time through so far going into today's game. And I can do the math on what it is now because he faced the top of the order for a third time in the bottom of the 6th. Gave up the single to Nootbaar with 1 out. Then he got Mason Wynn to fly out, and he got Brendan Donovan to ground out, which means now opponents seeing Cameron a third time are 4 for 24 so far. Small sample size, but enough there to say, hey, Cameron's more than held his own against opponents who are seeing him for a third time. So he clearly has that level of trust from Quatraro. It'd be one thing if we had seen him pulled frequently in that spot, but Quatraro felt like it was the right thing to do against that right-handed thump, 4, 5, 6 in the Cardinal order. And again, I thought the process was fine. It was defensible. The result was not.
While we're talking about Cameron, by the way, can we sidetrack momentarily and say happy 40th anniversary to Ferris Bueller's Day Off?
Sure we can.
Cameron, of course, the best friend, dad with the car, all that.
Seen that movie a lot.
Oh, yeah, great film. I watched it for the first time.
Always on TV.
Yeah, I watched it for the first time in a while the other day. Man, great movie. You know what else? That movie is timeless. You know what else is timeless? Mia Sara.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't have much of a career after that. I can only...
Why Best with Perfection? Go out on top.
Yeah.
Because let me tell you, she went out on top.
I get it. I totally get why Ferris was willing to risk it all for her. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. 100%.
That dude wanted to get married at 18 years old. And, brother,
you know what else?
I get it.
You know what else was a thing of beauty? Jac Caglianone's first big league hit. See, I'm getting the train back on the track.
Yes, thank you for the life
Jac
preserver.
Caglianone is on the board, and RBI double in today's game for his first big league hit. Came with 2 strikes. He was down 0-2 in the count. In fact, he got a curveball from Miles Michaelis, and kind of like his first big league at bat, 2-strike curveball, stayed back on it, stroked it, hit it on the nose, pulled it down the first base line, doubled in Salvador Perez, made it 2-0 at the time. Cags ended up going 1 for 4 in the game, and the adjustment for Jack is going to be that he's got the ability to get his bat on the ball, and that is a skill that he has at a very high level. But he's going to have to tone down the aggressiveness because pitchers are going to understand, okay, we can nibble with him, and we can get him to swing at pitches that are on the fringes of the strike zone. We could take him outside the strike zone like John King did in his last at bat, the left-hander. That's the second time King's seen him, and King did the same thing. Ran that sinker in on his hands and got weak contact. So that's what Caglianone's going to see a lot of. He's going to see a lot of pitches on the fringes until he proves he can spin on those and get to a 1-0, get to a 2-0 count, because he's not doing a lot of swinging and missing. He's done that once in his first 9 big league at-bats. Also handled his first chance in the field clean, a sinking line drive that he had to move to his left on and go back on, and he played it fine. He didn't fall down. He didn't drop the line drive. So certainly understood why they would go with a defensive replacement for him with a 3-0 lead, but also would have liked to have had his bat in the lineup there in the 10th instead. So, yeah, it's one of those things. But congrats to Jack, first of many. And again, you just see that elite ability to get the bat, the barrel to the baseball. Well, now you got to put it to better use and get the barrel to pitches that you can really square up and not have to find yourself in 0-2 holes and not, be a first pitch. Oh, you can roll this guy over, just get it below the zone, get it in on his hands, and he's going to hack.
He'll get there.
Oh, he will.
He'll get there.
I have no doubt he'll make the adjustment. Absolutely no doubt at all. We're going to take a break here on 580 Sports Talk. We'll come back. We got a round of What Is Wrong With You, and then Rick Peterson's going to join us for the local sports spotlight. An hour later than usual, but hey, we're an hour later than usual, so blame us, not him. But we'll talk to Pistol about the end of the high school sports season in the state of Kansas and here in Shawnee County. That's all coming up. We got another full 5 o'clock hour as well. We're just getting started on this Thursday edition of 580 Sports Talk. What Is Wrong With You is brought to you by State Farm agent Ryan Mo Winkle Insurance and Financial Services. When it comes to insurance and financial Financial Services. Call Mo. He knows. 785-273-1572. I just kind of improvised that as we've gone as sort of a tagline for him.
That's pretty good. I like it.
I'm no copywriter. Like I'm no, brilliant ad exec or anything like that. But I got some ideas. I'm an idea man. Is what I am.
Yeah. No, I think that I think that would apply to me as well. I don't really want to do the work beyond that, but coming up with an idea. You want an idea? Sure. It might not be good, but I got an idea for you.
I got ideas at the wazoo, but are they good?
No such thing as a bad idea.
I was
right?
going to say, are we talking quality or quantity here?
The current champion on What Is Wrong With You won the lottery, lost the girl and the money. Lawrence Campbell of Winnipeg, who's suing the Western Canada Lottery Corporation, Manitoba Liquor and Lotteries, and his ex-girlfriend, because he bought a winning lottery ticket, $3.6 million American. And she took it and went to bed with another guy immediately. But not before she deposited all of the winnings in her account. Why hers and not his? He didn't have one. He didn't have an ID.
Relevant sidebar. Take the Money and Run. Best Steve Miller Band song?
I'm going to go Jungle Love.
Oh, man. Jungle Love's a hit. Underrated.
Mm-hmm. I go Jungle Love. Yeah, it's a good song.
That's a really good one.
I mean, interrupt. If you would like to sing.
No, please. No, I got critiqued for my singing on the YouTube the other day. I'll hold that for a little bit.
All right, so that is our current winner on What Is Wrong With You. Got two new stories today. I will begin. We are going to Florida to beat an old racist lady. An 81-year-old woman accused of showering a mother and her two young kids with bear spray and referring to them with a commonly known racial slur while they were playing with bubbles in their own backyard.
She looks like John Goodman.
Yeah, racism ages you.
Clearly.
Like, she's 81. She looks like she's 181. Ada Anderson is facing 3 counts of battery. According to a probable cause arrest affidavit, a woman and her 3- and 6-year-old children were outside their Ocala home playing with bubble toys on Friday. That's when Anderson came up to the fence between their two properties and allegedly sprayed bear mace at them while calling them stupid N-words.
Jeez.
The spray hit them, causing their lungs to be affected. Cops interviewed the 6-year-old girl who said it made her nose hurt. The mom said this is not the first time that Anderson has yelled racial slurs at her or her children. Deputies examined the fence and could see what appeared to be remnants of the bear spray. Anderson told deputies the victims were running up and down the fence and yelling at her, so she sprayed the mace from her front porch and that it did not touch the victims. But deputies noted the porch is about 40 feet from the fence. She was arrested. Her next court date is scheduled for July 1st. Records show she was previously arrested for aggravated assault and stalking in 2019 and 2017, respectively. So,
wow.
Yeah, the offense of just like blowing bubbles while black just drove this woman insane and sprayed mace at some kids.
Lady looks like Ric Flair.
Even if they were blowing bubbles on your yard.
Crazy.
3- and 6-year-olds, bear mace. Let go of that hate in your heart, lady. It might take some of those wrinkles away, too.
Wild.
I'm telling you. Nothing makes you look older than that racism. That just makes you look moldy and musty, and it don't look good on anybody. Not a good look on anybody. Spencer, what's your story?
Yes, this guy inadvertently outed himself as a perv. He was arrested and charged.
Wait a minute. Just read the first line.
A man who admitted sexually gratifying himself with pool floats has pleaded guilty to a months-long burglary spree that netted him dozens of inflatable partners. According to court
inflatable
records.
Partners, absolutely not. No.
Where did you guys find these people today? You want to talk about the dregs of society? My
we found
God.
them in Florida, where we always find these people.
Yeah, in a deal with Florida prosecutors, Christopher Monin, 41, copped to theft and burglary charges on the eve of a scheduled June 2nd criminal trial in Broward County. While such felony convictions carry stiff maximum prison terms, his plea resulted in a downward departure, in part because he requires specialized treatment for a mental disorder that's unrelated to substance abuse or addiction. According to the court filing, the defendant was amenable to treatment. A judge sentenced him to 2 years of community control, an intensive form of probation that compares to house arrest. He will then be placed on standard probation for 8 additional years.
So there were 75 pool floats.
Yes, he was stealing pool floats
in the house. A lounge chair with cup holders, duck float, lobster float,
A
French
bacon.
fry float, a Shack branded inflatable lounger.
French fry.
I can't
pizza.
believe it. No, wait. I can believe there was a Shaquille O'Neal branded inflatable pool lounger. One of the great tweets of all time. I think Shaq would do a commercial for genocide if the check was on time.
Yeah.
Shaq will put his name on anything.
So he's a serial he's
a serial thief,
but
he steals the pool floats.
Yes, dating back to 2007 and 2008.
Been doing this a long time.
Yes.
That is that's a sickness.
Yes.
Both of these people are very sick. In such a way.
I don't really want to vote for either.
Yeah, like
I'm calling this one like a count out draw. Spencer, I'm gonna go with yours. Like, in theory, it's a little bit funnier than old racist lady attacking children.
Yes.
But I like, by default, I'm keeping our weekly winner in place.
No,
I hate both these.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Won the lotto, lost the girl, and the money persists. Guys, just a little too trusting.
A little bit. We got a question here from Tyler. How do you sue someone without having a bank account or any money? Great question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do have to pay lawyers, generally speaking.
I'm going to pay you when I win because she's got $3.6 million and I'm supposed to have half of it. I guess that's the sales pitch.
Yeah.
That's our winner on What Is Wrong With You, brought to you by State Farm agent Ryan Mo Winkle Insurance and Financial Services. We'll take a break. When we come back, Rick Peterson at TopSports.news joins us for the local sports spotlight on 580 Sports Talk. Joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits hotline, as he does every Thursday for the local sports spotlight, is the great Rick Peterson of TopSports.news, where you can find a year-round coverage of all things Shawnee County High School sports and Washburn University athletics. Pistol joins us here for the local sports spotlight on 580 Sports Talk, and the season has come to an end. Pistol, have you had a chance to take a breath in the 4 or 5 days since the final competition day of the 2024-25 academic year?
I'm still trying. I tell you what, it really wore me out this time. I don't those 3, 4, 12-hour days in a row. I don't bounce back as well as I used to. But I'm getting there. The 17-inning softball game to kick everything off kind of put me in catch-up mode.
Yeah, that kind of let you know what you were in for right there. It made no mistake about it. Well, let's start with a team state championship, many years and many opportunities in the making for Washburn Rural girls soccer. Finally over the hump, and the champions of Class 6A. Brian Hensel and that program have come agonizingly close before, had teams that were good enough to do it, but just couldn't get past those great teams that typically come from either the EKL or the Sunflower League. This time they do it with a win in penalty kicks over Mill Valley in the 6A championship game. I have to imagine that there's a bit of is it relief that the monkey is off the back for that program for Brian Hensel, or is it excitement that, okay, we've knocked the door down and now we know we can do this?
Yeah, I think it's just excitement because they knew how good they were. And that's the thing about soccer. Shoot, you got a dominant team, an absolutely dominant team, and you have to go to penalty kicks to get it done then. I mean, that's just how many good teams there are and how close together they are. But I do want to tell you this. Brian Hensel told me way back last summer, and again early in the season, that he thought this really could be the year. And I think he believed, I think the players believed. He had great players like Kate Hink and Zara Fries to build around. And it's really good to see him get it done.
It's not just great for Washburn Rural to do it. It's really kind of a blow for, I think I read where going into this year, there had been 69 girls soccer state championship trophies handed out in state history. And 63 of them had gone to schools in Greater Kansas City. For the EKL or the Sunflower League, they'd all gone to Greater Kansas City schools. This year, Bishop Carroll out of Wichita wins 5A. Washburn Rural wins 6A. And Hayden gives Bishop Miege everything they can handle before falling in a double overtime thriller in the 4A title game. Is there a sense that maybe there is finally some catch-up starting to happen on this side of the state? Or was there the feeling that was always there? The opportunities were always there. It was just a matter of doing it on the big stage when it mattered the most.
I think the opportunities were always there. Hey, let's not forget, Hayden was the last team to beat Bishop Miege in state competition. So they proved that Hayden's had some good runs of their own. And, if you don't get that handball in the box that gives them a PK, shoot, Hayden could have got it done this year. So I think that was kind of a turning point a little bit. But no, we've had good soccer teams in this area. Siemens been good, Heights has been good, and some others. But like you said, it's just getting over the hump and getting it done.
Rick Peterson is our guest from TopSports.news. This is the local sports spotlight on 580 Sports Talk, our weekly check-in with all things Shawnee County High School sports and Washburn University athletics. Pistols work appears, of course, at TopSports.news. Let's shift to track and a couple of individual performances, and we have to start with the incomparable Ryan Miller, who does the triple in the 5A state meet, wins the 800, the 1600, and finally best Caitlin Roop of Salina Central in the 3200 to win all three of the distance events. Again, Pistol, you've got the historical perspective here. That's got to be one of the great individual performances by a Topeka athlete in the history of the state track meet.
It does. For the girls, the only one that's really comparable for me is Teresa Nicolay. And, and she never lost a state individual race. So that's how good she was. But, the toughest one was the first one, the 3,200 on Friday night. And I'm standing there with Brent Maycock and Ryan let Caitlin get out to a pretty good lead, and we're sitting there. Is she getting too far back? When she need to make her move? And all of a sudden, on lap 7, she started to make her move, And on lap 8, she flashed that exceptional speed she had, and beep, beep, she's gone. So that was great. And then I really didn't think anybody was going to beat her in the 1600, which was her second event, and then R in the 800. And they didn't, although she was pushed in both of them.
What do you know about her collegiate opportunities that are in front of her to run, her recruitment or anything like that? What are you aware of when it comes to Ryan Miller, just out of curiosity?
Well, I've heard KU a lot, but then I do know for a fact she visited the University of Oregon, which is kind of like the Taj Mahal of
the Duke of running. Yeah.
So, but I was told that I leave her alone. I leave her alone because I just don't want to, I don't want to put any pressure on her. I don't think anybody should put any pressure on her. She just finished her junior year.
Sure.
But I've been told by her coach that he thinks she'll make a decision before she starts her probably her senior cross country season.
Listen, Pistol, I don't want to put any pressure on her either. She's obviously, too young and too involved in what she's doing for that. But by the same token, I mean, would you rather go, where Nike headquarters is and they do USA track and they have all that running money and all that? Or would you rather go hang out at Jefferson's on Mass Street? I don't know. I think that's a pretty tough decision.
Well, and I do think her family's, KU fans, and the thing too, you got to take into account, Oregon, like I said, Taj Mahal, but it's also a long ways away. Whereas KU, she'd be, her parents could watch her almost every weekend or a lot of weekends. So we'll see. I don't think she can make a bad decision. I want her to have, this is a 4-sport girl, so I want her to have a enjoyable senior season in all sports, and make her decision, in her time. And I got to believe it'll be the right one for her.
Listen, the Taj Mahal is nice, but sometimes, so is a really good Holiday Inn.
Yeah,
Rick Peterson.
That is true.
I don't know if that's quite the recruiting pitch I would go with if I were the KU track program. But
Listen, I moved out of that town. I'm running out of things to pitch.
Rick Peterson of TopSports.news. Our guest. This is the local sports spotlight on 580 Sports Talk. Also, some individual and team gold for the Washburn Rural boys. Isaiah Terry in the 400, Liam Morrison in the 300 hurdles, and those two with two of their teammates winning the 4x4. Those were events that Washburn Rural was really dominant in all year long. It was great to see that dominance come to fruition in Wichita.
Yeah, and obviously, and with very deservedly so, everybody's talking about Ryan Miller, but yeah, what a weekend for Washburn Rural boys. I mean, Isaiah Terry's down in the 47s and are, been in the 47s all year. And I think he ran, it seemed like to me, he took control of that open 400 from the outset. And then, Liam Morrison, who's just a junior, he had, by his own admission, not a real great 110 highs, and then came back and just ran a super 300s. And then they were just, so impressive. That was fun to watch. I stood there just a few feet from the finish line, and it was a state meet record, 316, and just, it was their race. I mean, I thought from the outset it was their race.
It was a tremendous race by that team. Matthew Hauser, Drayden Chincharoon, the other two that ran along with Liam Morrison, Isaiah Terry in that state championship 4x400 meter relay team. Pistol, Brandon and I were talking about this off the air. We talked about the champions in the area from the weekend. We also mentioned loss in the 4A girls soccer state title game. 1-run loss for Silver Lake in the softball title game. In 3A, 1-run loss for Washburn Rural in the title game. In 6A softball, some near misses to be sure, but those are two programs that I don't know that everybody. And the fact that they did it goes to show you just the power of their their tradition and their belief that they're going to make a run come this time of year.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't sure if I had been picking, particularly rural softball. I'm not sure I would have picked them to make the final. 6A is always a very tough class, and they had lost a lot of good players off the past team, and so great performance by them. And Silver Lake just seems to do what Silver Lake does. And you start with a great pitcher in Kendra Cook, who's going to be at Washburn next year. And they got it done and could have won that game. I mean, shoot, when you go 9 innings and it's a tie game, you got your chance.
We're joined by Rick Peterson of TopSports.news. It's the local sports spotlight here on 580 Sports Talk. Pistol joining us on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Make sure you're checking out all of his phenomenal work covering our local teams at TopSports.news. Did want to get a quick Washburn question in for you, Pistol, because Ichabod's men's basketball unveiled their full transfer portal class this year. We knew about a couple already, Marcus Glock from Northwest Missouri State and Jeremiah Jones from the University of Mary up in North Dakota. But a couple other additions as well. Bryson Smith, who was previously at Northeastern State. We know he's a good player. And Isaiah Sams-Hoy, who's coming to Topeka from Alaska Fairbanks. That is quite a trip from all the way up in the Great White North. What do you make of this overall transfer class for Coach Ballard?
Well, I sat down and looked at all that yesterday and looked at the bios. Had lunch with Kyle Manthe, the assistant SID, and we talked about it quite a bit. It looks like a good class to go with the great players they had coming back. I mean, you start with Jack Batchelor and then Dylan Clausen, and on and on and on. And I think you can't say, okay, we're going to the finals or the national tournament again, but I think they'll be very good.
Rick Peterson covers it all for TopSports.news, whether it's Shawnee County High School sports or the Washburn Ichabod's. TopSports.news is the place to read all about it. Pistol, appreciate you being flexible with your time and joining us today. And next week, we'll do a more thorough recap of the year that was in high school athletics in the state and in this area. Thanks for the time. We'll do it again next week.
Look forward to it.
That is Rick Peterson. We will take a timeout, come back, and wrap up this 4 o'clock hour of 580 Sports Talk. Our thanks again to Rick Peterson, TopSports.news, joining us for the local sports spotlight. We didn't get around to this yesterday. We let it get past us. Yesterday, it was Keziah Izzard days until Chiefs kickoff.
Of course.
That's the undrafted free agent rookie defensive tackle out of Penn State. Here's your Keziah Izzard fun fact I had pocketed for yesterday. His middle name is Athens.
Keziah Athens Izzard.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
But it's a very unique middle name. Today is Marlon Tuipulotu days until the Chiefs' first game of the 2025 season. Marlon Tuipulotu appeared in 2 games for the Chiefs last season. You may know that his brother, Tuli, plays for the Chargers. But did you also know that his cousin is Talanoa Hufanga, who now plays for the Denver Broncos?
Oh.
So that's a whole family affair in the AFC West.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
Any player who is of Tongan or Samoan descent, you can just assume that they have like 2 or 3 cousins in the NFL.
Yeah.
You don't know who they're going to be, but like you can just kind of guess.
I saw a feature, I think it was on 60 Minutes several years ago now, about football players who are natives of Samoa or their families directly come from Samoa.
Mm-hmm.
And like the population of that small island nation compared to the number of NFL players they've churned out is preposterous.
Yeah, like per capita, nobody's turning out more players than they are. Hey, do you want to give away some Chingawassa Days buttons?
I absolutely do. It starts tomorrow. It runs through Saturday. Chingawassa Days down in Marion, Kansas. Live music both days, including headliner, the Josh Abbott Band on Saturday. One of my favorite bands in country music right now. They are awesome. They put out a new album within the last year that is fantastic, by the way. Astronaut, great track. You can see them, Southall, and plenty of other live music coming up this weekend. The music starts at 6 o'clock tomorrow in Marion, 7:30 on Saturday, including the headlining act. There's also a cash prize cornhole tournament, a free barbecue on Friday down there. Plenty of fun for all the family. So head on out. We've got a family 4-pack of buttons for you. That's a $120 value in advance. Family 4-pack for you. Caller number 1 to 785-272-9429. That ticket package is yours. We'll talk more sports next hour on 580 Sports Talk.
Let's get it. 580 Sports Talk. Our second and final hour today here on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. You can catch the streaming video there. However you are enjoying the show today, we're glad you're enjoying it. We appreciate you spending your time with us here on 580 Sports Talk. Dan Lucero, Brendan Dworzinski, and Spencer Dupuis with you. We got one more hour before we hand things off to Royals baseball for Game 2 of their split doubleheader in St. Louis today. Royals dropped the opener 6-5 in 10 innings. First time all year Kansas City has lost a game in which they led in the 7th inning or later. They'll try to bounce back. Cole Ragans has been reinstated from the injured list. He will start tonight on the mound. St. Louis counters with a lefty of their own, Matthew Liberatore. The corresponding roster move that the Royals have announced, they designated Thomas Hatch for assignment. What was your favorite memory of Thomas Hatch's Royals career?
Seeing it on the graphic this morning that his contract was selected.
So the Royals needed an extra bullpen arm today for one game, apparently. And they called up Hatch. They purchased his contract to make room on the 40-man. They put Hunter Harvey on the 60-day IL, which Harvey's already been on the IL for 58 days. So that doesn't necessarily prolong his stay on the injured list. It just means he's still on the injured list. But it frees up a spot on the 40-man. And they purchased a contract to Hatch, who's been pitching down to AAA Omaha. He's been pitching fairly well. He's had a nice season for the Storm Chasers. And Hatch has pitched in the major leagues before, mostly for Toronto. They purchased his contract, and then they said Andrew Hoffman is going to be the 27th man. They sent Hoffman down to make space on the 26-man roster, and then they said Hoffman's the 27th man today. And then Hoffman remains the 27th man, but they needed a roster slot for Ragans, so they activate Ragans, and they designate Thomas Hatch for assignment. So the 40-man is back down to 39 guys. Thomas Hatch can be claimed by any team in the major leagues if they would like to add him to their minor league roster or their 40-man roster. And Thomas Hatch presumably had a very nice post-game meal.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Very nice
good catering. Yeah.
Very nice pregame meal. No wet eggs this morning for Thomas Hatch.
I hope not. I hope he got those good warm eggs.
I will say, he does have 46 strikeouts to 19 walks this season, but his ERA, if you're just judging off ERA, is a 4.59 ERA.
And honestly, that's not bad for the Pacific Coast League.
Yeah, that's grading on a curve down there.
Yeah. TCL is what it is.
In the International League?
No.
Omaha.
Yes.
Oh. Baseball Reference has it as the International League.
It's not unless they change the names of the leagues under my nose.
They are. Google AI says they're in both. That's a really good product you got there, Google. Thanks. Good
Unbelievable.
Stuff. They are currently in the International League.
That is called the International League now. I have been calling it the PCL for years. Nobody has bothered to correct me until right now
because nobody knows.
I just saw IL next to their name next to Omaha.
Who's in the Pacific Coast League now?
Your team, the Isotopes.
Well, hold on. They just played is there interleague play in the minor leagues now?
Yeah.
Well, yes, because don't remember they got rid of International League and PCL a couple years ago?
Yeah, it was just West and East.
Yeah, they killed it, and then they're like, oh, wait, everyone hates this. Let's just keep the
bring
format,
the names back.
But bring the names back. So, yeah.
The PCL is the Isotopes, El Paso,
so
Oklahoma City, Round Rock, Sugar Land.
10 teams. Yeah, man.
Your California.
The Storm Chasers are now the farthest west team in the International League. Yeah, man.
I just saw IL next to Omaha, and I said, that's International League.
So I really did. I had no idea. Where you guys been at? I have been referring to the Pacific Coast League. I am not kidding you. I have been referring to the Storm Chasers being in the Pacific Coast League. I got back on these airways in 22, and it has been consistent. I literally, this is one of those Trump on the tarmac learning about Ruth Bader Ginsburg dying. You're telling me this for the first time. I didn't know. I'm just learning this.
You're our minor league guy. You are the most likely one of the three of us to look at a minor league box score.
This is a fact.
So
I've just assumed they've been playing the same teams, man.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you.
Unbelievable.
But yeah, I guess they do have interleague play now.
Unbelievable. I feel incredibly betrayed. Wow.
It's very dumb that one league has 20 and one league has 10. That's very dumb.
It's very stupid.
Also, again, this team is the furthest west by far. I mean, not by far. Iowa's got a team in there. But, like, yeah, no. It doesn't make sense.
The Iowa Cubs, they were PCL until 2020. Nashville was a PCL team until 2020. Memphis was always in the PCL.
PCL,
okay. I guess the Indians were the IL for a long time. Man, that's throwing me, dude. That's wow. Yeah. I don't know what to do with this information, man. Because that was always the thing, was the PCL was the hitters league. That was the league where you had like Colorado Springs and Salt Lake and like Las Vegas. You always had the big offensive numbers in the PCL relative to the International League.
Yeah, they played Salt Lake recently when Jack was there.
Yeah, and he had 6 home runs and 5 home runs in 6 games.
So far, though, that's actually the only team from the PCL they have played.
Oh, my God.
And they will not play another one this month. So maybe they just have limited. Yeah, that's through July. Looking at the schedule.
Do you know what a jackass I feel like right now?
Hey, none of us.
3 years. 3 years I've been back on these airwaves talking about Pacific Coast League.
That is actually very funny that was a point of confusion because that is the only team from the Pacific Coast League they will play this season. Every other game they play is against the International League. That's very funny, actually. I find that humorous.
I don't know, man. My face got to be so red on our YouTube stream at 580 Sports Talk. I've never been more embarrassed.
Here's the thing, though. Nobody on the text line, nobody in the YouTube feed, no one on this program, no baseball guests we've had, no one has said anything. So you're good. No one knows.
I mean, yeah.
It's pretty much like the whole world now. No one knows what they're doing.
But if Cags was still in AAA come July, at the end of July, when they play Toledo, Buffalo, and Syracuse, I think eventually we may have found
I wouldn't have flinched. Omaha was a Pacific Coast League team for many, 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 many years. I would not have flinched. Oh, they play. That's weird.
The whole last half of their schedule is like the Eastern Division.
Yeah, they just go up to the Northeast the whole last month.
Columbus, Lehigh Valley.
I am more embarrassed by this
Charlotte.
than every time I've ever referred to the Oakland Raiders or the San Diego Chargers. This to me is worse. This to me is 10 times worse than any of those things.
I'm sorry I made this happen.
I needed to know. We all needed to know, clearly. Goodness gracious.
That's very funny.
Anyway, so Thomas Hatch can go back to the International League. See, you can't even do anything with that because the abbreviation is the IL, the same as the injured list. You can't call it the IL.
No, or you could if you just wanted to confuse everyone really badly.
Omaha's in the PCL. I've just decided that's just going to be show canon that they still play in the Pacific Coast League.
Okay, so if you plan to go to see a Storm Chasers game, do not listen to our program first.
Well, just if you're going to look for the standings, you just
wow, where are they?
Do your Googles. Holy cow! All right, we're going to talk some more baseball. We'll do either or over under either or. What league are the Omaha Storm Chasers in? Goodness gracious, that's so embarrassing.
You were right at one point in history.
I was right for most of history. Nobody corrected me.
Until 2021, following MLB's reorganization of minor leagues, to become it operates as AAA West for one season before switching back to the Pacific Coast League in 2022.
I know we've got seam heads who listen to this show, diehard baseball fans. None of y'all could have said, hey, man, they're actually in the IL now, the International League now. They switched leagues in 2022. Nobody. Nobody.
Owned by Rob Manfred, I guess.
Left me hanging out to dry for 3 years on this.
Score one for Rob.
Another thing to add to my long list of grievances.
Hold
with
on.
Rob Manfred.
Did you not know, though, that this all happened at the same time when Wichita was demoted to Double-A?
Well, I remember Wichita being demoted to Double-A. I remember that.
It all
They're
happened at the same time.
Tell me they're still in the Texas League, please.
Yes.
Yes, they are.
Thank Christ. At least I know that.
As a wind surge enjoyer, I can't
man.
confirm that. Dude, I found out recently, June 28th, I guess this is a free ad. They're doing effectively dodgeball night at the wind surge game. They're doing dodge, dive, dip, dodge, and duck and dodge night. And Michelle from the movie is going to sign autographs.
So I'm sure he wasn't busy.
They're giving away Average Joe's jerseys at the game.
That's sick.
I had been planning to go for months. I can't go. I'm so mad. That's one of my
tough.
5 favorite movies ever.
That's tough.
And maybe top 10. But I can't go.
That's too bad.
That's brutal.
If you're going to Country Stampede, though, you'll see me there. So
Oh, you're going to Country Stampede instead?
I'm working at Country
I'll
Stampede.
see you there, maybe.
Yeah. Myself and Jim West from Classic Country 106.9 will be over there. I'm sorry. Country's Greatest Hits 106.9. We'll be there. Yeah.
You guys have fun. You guys have fun.
I will. Jim's a great time. Jim's a great dude.
No, I like Jim West a lot.
Yeah, no, Jim's going to be a party.
Super funny guy. Anyway, let's do some sports headlines, shall we?
Yeah.
Let's please put this embarrassment behind me. Let's talk about the big sports news of the day from Tom Pelissero on social media. Renegade A-Rod. That's right. Alex Rodriguez is a Pittsburgh Pirate. No, that's not correct. 4-time NFL MVP Aaron Rodgers informed the Steelers he'll fly to Pittsburgh on Friday and sign before next week's minicamp. Sources tell the insiders. Aaron Rodgers, the 41-year-old 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion, will be keeping the Steelers from winning a Super Bowl the second time in his career. By the way,
I'm going to interrupt here. I don't think that is only because of Aaron Rodgers.
No, he'll have help. But Aaron Rodgers will be the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers. They open their season at the Jets week 1, which adds a layer of humor to all of this. I had kind of thought, okay, it's dragging out, but some of this is just Rodgers is an old guy, doesn't want to do minicamp.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're the quarterback and you're going into a new offensive system and a new team, like, you got to do minicamp. You got to do minicamp. And I don't know if somebody got in Rodgers' ear or if he came to his senses while he was smoking angel dust in a cabin somewhere. I don't know. I don't know what led Aaron Rodgers to decide that today was the day. He probably thought nothing else going on in the world today. I'll sign and everyone will be talking about me in all corners of the world. And then that's not what happened.
Do you smoke angel dust?
You can, yes.
Can you do anything to consume angel dust? I never have.
Snort. I don't know if you can inject.
I bet you could if you tried.
Probably boof it. We don't need to get into all that. Aaron Rodgers has definitely boofed angel dust.
I'm sure he has sampled.
Yes. Aaron Rodgers has method of taking mind-altering substance before. Like, the Mad Lib is true no matter what.
People forget that he was literally trying to escape onto the last flight out of Peru when the pandemic started. That's not a bit. He and Danica Patrick literally had to sprint to an airport to get on the last plane out of the country to get back to the U.S. when COVID hit.
I feel like I need to offer a legal disclaimer that I do not have firsthand knowledge that Aaron Rodgers has, in fact, boofed angel dust.
Yeah, allegedly.
Yeah, that's a sprinkle some allegedly on that. Anyway, look, he'll be behind a better offensive line than he was with New York.
That's a plus.
He's got DK Metcalf to throw to. Very good receiver in his prime, if not an elite wide receiver, then a very good one, at least in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
Got some good running backs behind him. Like, there's the pieces there for a functional offense. Arthur Smith does a lot of play action type stuff. The offensive coordinator. Is Rodgers mobile enough to be like a real fit and be successful in this offense? That's a question that, 38, 39-year-old Aaron Rodgers, I would have had a much more confident answer. I don't know if 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers has it in him, regardless of what his setup around him is. I just don't know if the game is in him.
So I am a little bit, and emphasis on little, more bullish on it. Like, I think the offensive line makes a big difference. And interior, because he can't move much anymore. At his best, even in the second 2 MVP years, he really didn't move all that well. But when he was at his true peak, like Super Bowl through 2016, he moved. It was a lot like Mahomes, like what he does now. That, oh my, you're going to get him. You're going to get him. Oh, scrambled for 8 yards on 3rd and 7. I mean, that's what Rodgers made a lot of money on, frankly. And he can't do that anymore because of the Achilles and because he's 41 and still trying to play quarterback. I think the offensive line and the strong interior is really going to help. I think the Pittsburgh running game is going to be better now that they've gotten rid of Najee Harris and don't have to pretend he's still a thing. I think, and I love them drafting Caleb Johnson. Love that. And Rodgers and Mike Tomlin, actually, it's been documented. They have a good relationship. Like that goes back to the Super Bowl year and on. Like a lot of mutual respect there. So I actually think there is, and like DK, that's helpful. Although Rodgers also had Garrett Wilson and with the Jets, who was a good player. Very different kinds of receivers, certainly. Here's the downside. Dan, can you name the offensive play caller who called more between the hashes concepts than anyone else in football last year?
I bet that's Arthur Smith.
You would be correct. Can you name the full-time starting quarterback who threw the ball between the hashes the least last season?
Would it be Aaron Rodgers?
It was Aaron Rodgers. Justin Fields and Russell Wilson were bad fits for Arthur Smith because Russell Wilson had a really good peak, but he still never threw the ball over the middle. That's not his thing.
No, never was.
Justin Fields can't really throw, period. Aaron Rodgers at this stage, at his peak, sure. Greg Jennings, deep crosser, oh yeah, that's money. Now, he doesn't throw over the middle. That's all Arthur Smith does. It's play action, throw between the hashes. Use tight ends in the seam. Rodgers didn't like using tight ends when he was at his peak. So I think on paper, there is it makes sense to this. I think in terms of the coach who's going to call his plays, A, I don't think it's a great fit. B, those two egos in one room, oh God.
Yeah.
Arthur Smith, not exactly the most like grounded guy. Aaron Rodgers, need I say more? So I don't know. Like, they're probably going to go 10-7 and lose by 24 points in a playoff game.
9-8. And there's a real floor here if Rodgers is indeed cool.
Yes, no, I agree.
Yeah,
I do think he's better than Mason Rudolph, though.
Yes, by some distance. Like they got better today.
Yes,
but how much?
Shoot,
better?
I'd play Howard over Rudolph. To be honest with you,
I would too. I'd play Skylar Thompson over Mason Rudolph, the other quarterback in camp.
Skylar's like, please keep me around. I want this paycheck. Come on, don't want to go to the UFL yet.
Skylar Thompson's about to get an earful about like chemtrails on day one of mandatory mini.
Yeah, he's gonna get the
Skylar, Aaron, nice to meet you. Hey, who do you think did 9/11?
There's an entire ESPN profile about Rodgers' backups in Green Bay, all sharing that exact story. He's a wild man. All right, first headline for me today. Some other major news. This from the AL Central, in fact. Headline from the Chicago Tribune. Jerry Reinsdorf reaches a deal to sell the Chicago White Sox to Justin Ishbia, but not until 2029 at the earliest. So this is a bizarre setup, but this is how it's going to be put together. By the way, Justin Ishbia, if that name sounds familiar, his brother, Matt with one T, is the owner of the Phoenix Suns.
And a great one, too.
Yeah.
Real hands-off, just leaves everybody alone.
All right, so I'm going to get to that here in a second. Not the various allegations against his front office. That I have no explanation for that. That's very bad. The Suns are just magnets for that crap. So essentially, and now the Tribune website won't load because this computer was made before the Commodore. Anyway, the situation essentially works like this as I pull up the true information. Starting in 2029, Jerry Reinsdorf will have an option based on this contract that is being signed. He will have the option to sell the controlling stake in the White Sox to billionaire Justin Ishbia. That part of the contract extends from 2029, 4 years from now, through 2034. starting in 2034, Justin Ishbia becomes the one with the option. And the option is passed to him, and he will have the opportunity then to buy the controlling stake in the Chicago White Sox. So it could happen as soon as 2029, but if Reinsdorf wants to hold out, it could take, theoretically, to 2034 or even beyond that point. Here is the most Jerry Reinsdorf part of this story, by far. He's 89 years old. He could be 98. Or, I don't mean to be morbid, but it's just like a fact of humanity.
Likely,
he could be dead before this happens. He's literally saying, if I make it to 98, I will give you the privilege of giving me $5 billion. This is so Jerry Reinsdorf. It's unbelievable. I'm mostly mad that this doesn't include the Chicago Bulls to somebody else. But this is, like, if you're a White Sox fan, you got to be thrilled.
Oh,
like,
yes.
At some point, you'll be freed from prison.
Yes.
But this is like, you're just going to be told for the next 9 years you're going to be denied parole. That's what this is.
You have baseball fans today in Pittsburgh and Denver saying, I have seen what you have done for other people, Lord, and I want that for me.
Yeah. So the thing I wanted to say about Matt Ishbia, I don't think he's been a good owner. Like, the Suns have had 4 head coaches in 3 years with no interims. Those are all full-time guys.
They haven't won a playoff game since he decided he'd try to pick on Nikola Jokic and rough it up with him during a playoff game in 2023.
Their entire history as a franchise changed when that Tool fan of theirs at the NBA Finals threw up the money sign and was trying to fight people in the stands. Whole trajectory of their franchise changed at that point. But the thing I will say, and the big difference here, he is willing to spend. He is, in fact, he has spent an absurd amount of money, and he has improved the fan experience in Phoenix. Not because of the product on the court, but like they're one of the teams now that sells popcorn for $2 and like a $3 hot dog at a game.
And their games are all on local TV. Yeah.
Which is good. Like, that's great. Even if your team sucks, that is a very good thing. Jerry Reinsdorf is cheap. He has been cheap since he bought the team. He's been cheap his entire life. So if you're a Sox fan, like, hey, we might have an overly controlling megalomaniac owner who meddles a lot, but like, at least we will probably pay someone $100,000 or $100 million for the first time ever.
It would be a first for the Chicago entry in the American League to spend like a large market team.
Yeah.
The largest free agent contract they've ever given out in the history of their franchise is to Andrew Benintendi,
who promptly sucked.
So they have never thrown their weight around like a financial titan.
No.
And there is certainly room to do that in the American League Central, where you don't have a lot of other financial titans in the division. So, that is something that will bear monitoring here in the coming years. Maybe the White Sox will be serious in the ownership box moving forward. Spencer, give us a headline.
Yes. Topeka native, Topeka High alum, Najee Kennedy pitched in the Women's College World Series Championship Finals Game 1 last night. Unfortunately, one mistake for her, really, it was the turning point of the ball game. She went 6 innings, gave up 4 hits, 2 runs while striking out 7. And it was in the 6th inning, an 2 RBI single given up to Atwood of Texas. That was the game, and unfortunately her team couldn't pick her up at the plate like they did in the semifinals earlier in the week. Game 2 set for tonight, 7 p.m. You can watch it ESPN. Most likely she'll be on In the Circle again.
So, like, look, it was a bad pitch, obviously, and I'm sure she would be the first one to own it,
and she was. She went and they asked her about intentional walking somebody because that's the first time she has ever been asked to do that in her college career. And she says, "I'm a college pitcher. I should know how to do that. That's on me, and I put this loss on me." Very mature response for the best player to put the game on her shoulders. Reese Atwood, who got the 2-run single on that 3-0 pitch that was meant to be further up and out than it was, is the best hitter maybe in America. She's hit close to 400, 21 home runs. She's a beast. Jac Caglianone is the best pitcher in America. I don't know. I would rather roll the dice with the best pitcher against the best hitter. I would rather roll the dice with that matchup and not fool around with something that I don't think you've practiced.
Yeah. So
and it's part of a larger trend of managers in the collegiate stick and ball sports. They just galaxy brain themselves out of rallies and out of innings and into trouble. And it happens in baseball and it happens in softball. They panic and they make bad decisions. And that was a bad decision. There's no way around saying it was the wrong thing to do, and then it was executed poorly, but it was the wrong thing to do in the first place. Let your best pitcher go after the other team's best hitter. Take your chances with that matchup, and then you can live with it instead of saying, well, we were trying to throw a non-competitive pitch, and it was too good.
Yeah, die with your boots on. I know Nyjah takes the loss in the record book for that and has to eat the ERA and everything. That loss is on Jerry Glasgow. It's just a very dumb decision. And, it's a bummer. But now, I mean, you get to send the best pitcher, the best player in softball into the circle again tonight to try to get back even.
If you've got to win 2 in a row, nobody else you'd rather have in the circle. I am begging a lineup in support of Nyjah Kennedy in the Women's College World Series to score some runs.
Yep.
Get her some freaking runs. Stanford couldn't do it for 2 years. Texas Tech, get her some freaking runs. Get her 3 and you will win. Get her 3 tonight and 3 tomorrow. You win the national championship. I promise. It drives me nuts. I thought that was a very dumb thing to do. And yeah, Nyjah owned it like she ought to, but you don't. It's like asking an Indy car to drive like 55 miles an hour. Like, don't do that.
Pretty sure you put an Indy car in neutral and it goes 55.
Right. Let's get to a playoff roundup, shall we? We've got a full boat for the playoff roundup today.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
Fabulous game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final last night in Edmonton. Leon Draisaitl scores a power play goal with a minute left in overtime to give the Edmonton Oilers a 4-3 win over the Florida Panthers and a 1-0 series lead. Yes, I said power play goal in overtime. To commit a penalty in overtime, you either have to literally commit murder or you have to do something that is like structurally you leave the officials with no choice but to call. Like you have to call too many men or you have to call delay a game. Unless it is one of those penalties and you do not leave a corpse on the ice, they are not calling a penalty. Florida committed a delay a game penalty. Edmonton made them pay with the lethal combination of Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. So the Oilers have a 1-0 series lead. Really fun overtime.
Getting oiled up.
Really fun game. I mean, if you are a neutral hockey fan, it's going to be, it looks like a really enjoyable series. Game 2 is tomorrow night. The NBA Finals begin tonight. I learned what this phrase means, and now I'm going to use it relentlessly in reference to these finals. And this is not a grasping attempt at me to sound younger than I am. I just think this is really accurate. This is what the kids are saying these days. This is the World Series of aura farming, these NBA Finals. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Indiana Pacers, with a bunch of star players who are doing everything they possibly can to try and be cool.
See, I disagree with that. I think the league has enabled it. I think it's, frankly, Adam Silver's fault, but it's the officials' fault that it's like this. I don't think it's about being cool. This is the way to win.
No, I'm talking about the off-the-court stuff. Like, I'm talking about, like...
I thought you meant on the court. All right, like, my apologies. That's my bad.
Literally the phrase that Tyrese Halliburton used when in reference to him making the choke sign after the game-tying shot in Game 1.
He might want to put the phone down for a few minutes.
He said he wanted to do it later, but if he had done it again, he said people would have thought I was aura farming.
All right.
That's what the phrase means. Like, you're trying too hard to be cool. You're trying to grow aura rather than let it happen organically. But what's unfortunate is that for Halliburton, for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, they have to farm aura because they are the most swagless individuals I've ever seen in my life.
I kind of like Tyrese Halliburton.
He's a great player.
Yeah. It's a fun game. He's a great watch because he's almost always very good. But when he's not, he's horrible.
He is the most ethical hooper left.
Like of the good players.
Yes, yeah. He is like he has taken down the unethical hoops of Jalen Brunson, and now he faces the unethical hoops of the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's going to be a lot of to do about the TV ratings for this series because it's Oklahoma City and it's Indiana. First of all, people watch stars. People don't watch markets. People watch stars. People were watching Oklahoma City when they had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook. People will watch Oklahoma City and Indiana if they had players people like. People don't like these guys. Like
NBA fans also don't like basketball.
Well, I don't think...
This is what happens when you cater a league to 12-year-olds.
These are not like the casual sports fan has been given no real reason to like want to watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander play. And that is a fault of the league, and it is a fault of the people who cover it. But like, I watch more basketball than the average person. I don't like watching Oklahoma City play at all. I know that they're great. I respect that they are great. I don't like watching them play. The style doesn't do anything for me. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's game doesn't do anything for me. And that's a big reason why I'm going to give this series a miss. It's going to do a 0 rating in my living room. I don't care what it does league-wide. It's not going to, and
it's probably going to be bad. Let's be honest, it's not going to be good. And you're going to hear that constantly in the next week. Like, oh, look at this rating. It did a 21 share when on average it does a 23. That we're not going to be able to escape that. I'm excited for the basketball of this in theory. I've got 2 quick stats for you here. Number 1, do you know what what's Indiana's calling card? Like, if you had to say, like, when people talk about why Indiana's good, it's the transition game, right? So they get out and run. Who do you think had more fast break points this year?
It was
Indiana or Oklahoma City?
The Thunder do everything the Pacers do better than the Pacers do it.
Also, the Thunder are 13th out of 16 teams in the playoffs in 3-point shooting. They haven't even played good offense, and they still are 12-4 in the playoffs.
They had more than one guy who was good at basketball. I mean, maybe it would be different.
I think it's going to be Thunder in 5. I think they win game 1.
I got Thunder in 5 too, and a win tonight.
Thunder in 5. Why don't we all
the
say
gentleman's sweep?
I would love for it to be a better series. I just don't think it will.
No, I just think the Thunder are the one thing that gives me pause. I think Indiana has the better coach by a lot, and Rick Carlisle has won a title with the inferior talent before.
That's a good point.
2011 Dallas Mavericks did not have as many good players as the 2011 Miami Heat. Like, not even close. The second best player on that Mavericks team was Tyson Chandler.
Ooh, I don't know. That might be disrespectful to the Jet, Jason Terry.
But they won that title. And Eric Spoelstra got rings coached around him by Rick Carlisle. So
Spo is a good coach.
Yeah, Spo, and he's gotten better since, but he was a good coach even then. So that is the one thing that gives me pause. Not totally to disrespect Coach Spreadsheet, Mark Dagnall, but he's not as good a coach as Rick Carlisle is.
I would agree with that.
That's the one factor. If at the same time, if there was one weird trick to employ to slow down the Oklahoma City Thunder, like the Nuggets are the team that's come the closest, just play a bunch of zone on them and dare their guys who aren't that good at basketball to make more basketball plays. Maybe that's the solution. We'll see, but that would be antithetical to everything the Pacers have done defensively to get them here. So that element of it is genuinely interesting, but like, I don't want to sit down and watch Shai Gilgeous-Alexander play basketball, man. I just don't like it. I don't like him, and I don't like any of his teammates, and I don't like that team. And I think they're going to win, so it's not going to be a very pleasurable viewing experience for me. That's your playoff roundup. We're going to take a break, play a little either or over under next on 580 Sports Talk.
All right, welcome back. 580 Sports Talk. We're going to take a break, play a little either or over under next on 580 Sports Talk. 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 580
541 on 580 Sports Talk. Royals baseball coming up in about 20 minutes. Pregame coverage, 6:45 first pitch of game 2. We'll have more to say about that in just a little bit. But first, a round of either or over under. This is a big either or. So forgive me. We're going to throw it up on the YouTube if you're watching on our YouTube stream, 580 Sports Talk. And that's the name of the channel, 580 Sports Talk. Choose a free bread. These are the free breads you get at some popular chain restaurants throughout our great nation. You have the Cheesecake Factory, Red Lobster's Cheddar Bay Biscuits, Olive Garden's Breadsticks, Texas Roadhouse's Rolls with the apple cinnamon butter, Cracker Barrel Biscuits, the Outback Brown Bread, the Boston Market Biscuits. Man, I haven't seen a Boston Market.
No, I didn't know they were still in the game.
They're still in the league. Longhorn and their bread. And then the final option is the Buca de Beppo, terrible bread.
Well, that one's obviously
terrible,
out.
not like awful, terrible.
I will say my buddy just sent me a Snapchat earlier, and he said, I regret to inform you, but I just ate 5 Texas Roadhouse rolls in the matter of 10 minutes.
Damn, so he wasn't very hungry today then, huh?
No.
So I will admit, growing up, there was a Buca de Beppo very close to my house by a big old mall.
Never heard of it.
Never been. There's one at the Plaza in Kansas City.
There is. I have never been to a Buca de Beppo myself.
So
I must admit.
I cannot justly pick that one. Now, I've also never been to Red Lobster, which nearly caused Jake to fire me one time.
I remember
what?
This. Jake was so mad at you.
He was like, how have you never been? I was like, well, I like seafood, but I've never been to like drive-through seafood. And he was like, all right, Lindsay and I are taking you. We got to go. Never did. You owe me the Red Lobster, LeBron. So I can't. My wife, though, has done homemade Cheddar Bay biscuits. Very good. You're a very good cook. I am going to go barely. Like, this is game 7 in overtime. Texas Roadhouse over Olive Garden. I love the Olive Garden breadsticks. I truly do. But Texas Roadhouse, the rolls, the cinnamon butter, that's got to be the pick.
See, when I was a kid, we used to frequent Outback, my dad's favorite restaurant. Loves to get his bloomin' onion and his steak on.
All right.
But he also loves his Outback bread. And if we would go without him, he'd be like, you gotta bring me 2 loaves home. Like
2 loaves.
I mean, they're pretty small.
Loaves.
Look, I mean, their bread's like
one for the
small.
steak and one for at home.
So like that's near and dear to my heart, but Roadhouse takes it in barely and in game 7 fashion as well.
Mark B offers the Longhorn as his pick. I do like Longhorn's bread.
Longhorn has very good bread. Yeah. Strong entry here.
Hey,
I could live on Red Lobster, Olive Garden, or Texas Roadhouse bread. I honest to God, if it was the only thing I had to eat for the rest of my life, I'd eat any of those.
I believe Jake LeBon has chimed in via the text line.
Yeah, we do have a text to the 785. Says when you and Abby want to go, it'll take you to Red Lobster.
All right.
Set up the double date.
All right, we'll do it. Still haven't been.
Bring the kids. Do some endless shrimp.
Ryan on YouTube says my blood type is cinnamon butter.
Yes.
I wish.
I am going with the Cheddar Bay biscuits, guys. I think that is manna from heaven. Honest to goodness. The Olive Garden breadsticks are all right. I think it'll be pretty good, pretty darn good. Texas Roadhouse rolls, absolutely. The trick with the Texas Roadhouse rolls is though you can't overdo them because then your entree comes and you're not hungry. Like that's the one restaurant where that'll fill you up.
You know what always happens to me at the Texas Roadhouse? So I often get the same thing. I get the 12-ounce strip. We obviously eat a ton of rolls. And then when they say, okay, what would you like for your 2 sides? I order 2 different potatoes. I get the baked potato, usually loaded.
The same thing.
And then I get the mashed potatoes with brown gravy. And at least 90% of the time, the waiter or waitress looks at me like,
are you sure?
That's a little heavy on starch, isn't it? And I said, did I bleep and stutter like I'm Barry Bonds at a press conference? Bring me my taters.
My wife does too. She'll get the
A
baked
woman
potato.
of culture.
She'll get the baked potato and the sweet potato.
Oh, see, I can't do sweet potato.
Oh, my wife loves the sweet potato.
But yeah, baked and mashed. Oh, yeah. Load me up on those carbs. And then I got to get the insulin out, of course. But
anybody else have a quick either or over under?
Now I'm just thinking about bread now.
I'm ready to go to one of these restaurants.
Yeah, I made y'all hungry. Let's take a timeout. We'll come back and talk some Royals baseball. 580 Sports Talk. Cole Ragans is back, reinstated from the injured list. The ball for game 2 of the Royals doubleheader against the Cardinals tonight. Matthew Liberatore is the opposing pitcher for St. Louis. First pitch in just under an hour at Busch Stadium. Royals going for a series win. Those have been few and far between for the boys in blue of late. Schedule, they had the series win over the Giants, but since that long winning streak they had that 7-game winning streak that included the sweep of the White Sox. That's the only series win for the Royals since. So you go back to early May. That's 7 series where they've lost 6 of the last 7. Doing some back of the napkin math, like verbally here. Apologies for that. So they've lost 6 of their last 7 series. They need a series win. They need to find a way to get this one tonight. And it won't come easily because Matthew Liberatore has probably been the best starting pitcher for the Cardinals. It's been him or Sonny Gray. Liberatore did have a rough outing his last time out against Texas, gave up 5 runs to a really mediocre offense on 7 hits in 5 innings. But he was very good against the Royals back on May 18th, 6 innings of 1-run ball. The lineup for Kansas City tonight, well, it'll look familiar because it's got some similarities to the lineup for game 1 of the doubleheader. Jonathan India will play second base. He DH'd the opener. He'll play second base and lead off. Bobby Witt Jr. is at short. Michael Garcia gets the start in center field and bats third.
What?
Vinny Pasquantino will DH and hit cleanup. Salvador Perez at first base bats fifth. Jac Caglianone back in right field, batting sixth. Then Mark Canha in left field. Nick Lofton at third base, and Freddie Fermin behind the plate. They get all those right-handers in the game against the left-hander Liberatore. I would anticipate that once Liberatore leaves the game, we might see a defensive replacement. Garcia move to third, and either Drew Waters or Kyle Isbell come in the game there in center field. I don't think that's going to be a 9-inning venture for Michael Garcia.
No, I wouldn't think so. It'd be kind of funny if it was, though. What if it's like a Javi Baez situation? Like they throw him out there and whoa, he's actually a Gold Glover.
And he's
out
awesome.
There.
Yeah, that would be pretty great because then you'd have center field settled for a while with Michael Garcia. Lineup for the Cardinals against Ragans. They get most of their right-handers in the lineup. Lars Nootbaar, lefty, will lead off in left field. Then Mason Wynn at short. Brendan Donovan at second. Wilson Contreras at first. Ivan Herrera, the DH. Nolan Arenado at third, bats sixth. Joel Pozo is the catcher. Lane in right field. Victor Scott, left-hander, gets the nod in center field. He bats ninth. Ragans has been much better than his ERA of 4.53 suggests. We all know this. He hasn't given up that many hits. His strikeout numbers have been awesome. He hasn't walked a bunch of guys. His problem has been sequencing. It feels like when he does give up hits, they all pile up on each other. And they give up 5 hits, and they'll all come in the same inning. If he can scatter some hits tonight, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Also, don't know. I think he threw something like 60 pitches in his rehab assignment. I don't know that the Royals are going to push him, but they would surely like to get at least 5 innings, hopefully 6, out of Ragans tonight. But efficiency has not been his strong suit this season. He's only worked past the 5th inning, I believe, in 2 of his starts this year.
Yeah, and even with the rehab start, I have a hard time imagining that he's going to do that again tonight.
Yeah, and I think
I'd love to, but I just have a hard time seeing it.
6 at most, and hopefully however many it is, the bullpen can back Ragans better than they backed Noah Cameron in his outstanding outing in game 1 of the doubleheader today.
The thing about this game is especially hard because it was so deflating to lose the first game. You're up 3-0, you get it to extra, all of that. Everything together, it's so deflating. It's a lot of pressure on Ragans' first game back, but a good outing from him is the kind of thing that can make you believe again. Not that this team is going to, completely fold or anything. I don't believe that. But you kind of need him to come out dealing a little bit so that you have a little belief, because it's very easy to let a loss like that, force you into a bit of a slide.
Yep, that's the old standby. Don't let one loss beat you twice. And that's what the Royals will be looking to avoid. Again, 6:45, the first pitch. Before we go, two quick things related to our bread discussion from the last segment. There are some call outs in the YouTube comments for the folks at Lambert's Throwed Rolls in down the Ozarks there.
Yeah.
I've never been. I remember seeing the billboards, like they had them out east of the Ozarks. I remember seeing one on like I-65 going south from Indianapolis. And they was like, hey, Throwed Rolls 500 miles away. I'm like,
What?
They throw the rolls at you is the bit. Like you put your hand up for a roll and they throw it to you.
Interesting.
And so you better have good hands. Like I can't imagine you go out there and you're like, you got Mr. Clanky hands and you can't catch the roll. Also,
they start chanting MVS at you if you drop one.
you can't bring your Sky Moore hands to Lambert. Also, a first-time texter from the 785 shouts out the bread at Johnny Carino's, which has been closed in Topeka for many years. I remember there being a Johnny Carino's back where I grew up.
Great bowl.
Thanks for the text. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you chiming in on the text line. And yeah, it's a blast from the past for the folks here in Topeka. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up with a final word. Hey, quick final word to finish the show today. Spencer Dupuis, what you got?
Yeah, I was going to say one for the DC gang after yesterday's win. The Nats got over Brendan's Cubs 2-0, but now they're down 2-0 in the finale of the series that just started about 11 minutes ago. So I don't have much grounds there.
Brendan, what you got?
Big day for the 580 Sports Talk Derby. Yeah, real quick, Cole Ragans. I know it's a lot of pressure on you. You just got back from an injury, but I need you to be pretty good tonight.
Final word for me, Noah Cameron keeps on mowing batters down and keeping runs off the scoreboard. That is the primary objective of pitching, after all, is to keep runs from scoring. And Cameron's been as good at that through his first 5 starts than any pitcher in the history of baseball has in their first 5 starts. While I don't think that this is the start of a Hall of Fame career for Noah Cameron, I definitely think the Royals have a big league starter. This is a kid who knows how to pitch, and he's really fun to watch. It's a shame the bullpen didn't back him better in game 1 of the doubleheader. Game 2 is coming up next. We're back tomorrow from 3 until 6. For Brendan and Spencer, I'm Dan. This is 580 Sports Talk. Good night.